Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elise and this is my mystical bookshelf. And today I have for you another audiobook that I have recently finished, and it is Rise and Divine, if you can see that, by Lana Harper. And this is a well-known series, I would think. It is the Witches of Thistlegrove, and this is supposedly the last book in the book series, which, if I'm being honest, makes me super duper sad, because I have loved this book series from the very beginning. My very first book that I read and thought was a 5-star in a very long time was Payback's a Witch when it first came out. That was definitely my top book for, I can't remember what year it came out. I think it was maybe 2023 or 2022, something like that. But it was definitely my top book of the year. And I reread it every fall now because it's like peak fall vibes. And that's how I feel about Lana Harper in general. Her books are like top tier in my opinion. She's a great writer. She's a great author. And she's really great at making very like lush, in-depth characters, in-depth scenery. I feel like I relate to most of her characters on some level, which I think is very cool. And her books are just really interesting. And not all of them are 5 stars, in my opinion, but definitely Payback's a Witch is a 5-star. And then Rise and Divine is definitely a 5-star. That was one of my favorite books I've listened to. It was so good. Like, I loved Bailey Carr. That was who narrated it. And she was a great narrator to listen to. I loved her voice. She sounded very soothing. And she made it sound like it felt velvety almost, the way she was talking while she was reading. She had all these great voices and cadences for every character, which I think is very important, and it's something that I've touched upon in a lot of my audiobook videos. Like, I really like it when a narrator like has different voices for different people. It's so good. It's really amazing how people can do that. But Rise and Divine follows Daria Avramov. She goes by Dasha. I have no idea why, because I feel like Daria is really simple to say. It seems like a simple name, but she goes by Dasha for whatever reason. And this book in the Thistlegrove world is like definitely the most dark in my opinion. It felt like a kind of dark sadness almost, which I thought was really interesting. It definitely had like gothic vibes for sure. Like, the whole scenery, it made Thistlegrove seem darker than what it really is, but that might just be the Avramov perspective, because I know this is the second book that features an Avramov witch, which I think is interesting. I was a little bit sad we didn't get a book like featuring Linden Thorne. She's one of the main characters and one of the main side characters too. I was just kind of sad we didn't get more about her, or like how she could have ended up with someone or something. But I digress. This one is about Dasha, and it doesn't involve a thorn. It involves Ivy Thorn. And Ivy Thorn and Dasha Avramov used to be like a couple, and they had a really great romance in their humble opinion, and they had a really great relationship from the sounds of it. And then Dasha kind of went through a lot of personal stuff in her life. Her mom passed away, and her dad passed away tragically. Both of them tragically passed away, which I thought was sad. And that's kind of where the dark moments in this book come from. And there's actually a trigger warning at right when you first begin it. I think Bailey Carr had said that it's dealing with grief and suicidal ideation and violence, a little bit of violence, I guess, but there was some trigger warning, so I could tell that this one was going to be like the most heavy-handed in terms of like dark witch stuff, which I thought was interesting. It felt like reading a horror novel and a romance novel together, which I thought was very weird, but I liked it. I really did. It was very interesting vibes for sure. But yeah, this basically follows Dasha as she is navigating grief and navigating being addicted to, oh, it deals with addiction. That was one of the trigger warnings. Being addicted to, so this is gonna sound weird, but Dasha is a necromantic witch, and she deals with death and demons a lot of the time, like most Avramovs do. The Avramovs are basically the darkest family in the Thistlegrove series, so their magic is mainly necromantic. And Dasha is a very interesting Avramov because she's considered a devil eater, which is someone who like basically eats demons, which is weird, but that's how it was explained. And I thought that was really interesting. It was definitely something that I had never even thought of, actually, but it was really cool to read about and learn about. And so she's a devil eater, and she hasn't done it in a long time from what I understood in the book. And she has this special power, I guess, where she can like cross the veil, which I think goes into a different realm in the universe. And the veil, like beyond the veil, is like this really weird world where it's like nothing is classically alive, but it like feels like it's alive, or it looks like it's trying to be alive, but it's not. And Dasha kind of gets addicted to this feeling of going beyond the veil, and like she relishes in the feeling of being the only truly alive thing in that realm. And I guess it's like this really amazing massive high, and that's how it's described. She like gets high off of it, or like wants to stay in that feeling for as long as possible. And that's where she got into trouble with like her grief and trying to subside her feelings by going beyond the veil and trying to like subdue feelings of sadness or anything like that. And so she what am I trying to say? She confides that she went there more often than what was necessary because of this feeling. And so basically that's where the addiction comes in. And she tries to fight this feeling, and I think that's why she didn't want to be like a devil eater for a while, or she didn't do it for a very long time, because she didn't want to go over there and feel those feelings and like get back into that spiral of addiction. But the story opens up with her doing the devil eating thing again after like several years, probably several years or several months of doing it. And so she helps this woman named Emily in the beginning of the story, and Emily has this attachment with a demon who is pretending to be her cousin, which I thought was really sad because Emily lost her cousin when she was like 15, and she was trying to like hold on to her cousin in this sense, even though she didn't realize that it was a demon that was pretending to be her cousin. So that's where Dasha's story begins, as she finishes eating this demon from this woman named Emily. And so that part was kind of sad. And then it just follows Dasha as she navigates trying to get back together with Ivy. That's one of the main plots in this story, is she wants to get back together with Ivy. But Ivy doesn't really want to, which is understandable because it sounds like Dasha really hurt Ivy a lot in the previous parts of their relationship, but they end up going through this really great character arc, and Dasha has like massive growth throughout this whole book. And I can see why it's fitting to be the last book in the Thistlegrove series, because it's the most heavily dark and emotional. There's a lot of good character growth, and like there's a really dire situation that happens, and they finally learn everything about Thistlegrove at this point, because throughout the series they kind of learn different tidbits about Thistlegrove that they had never originally known before. So I think that was another thing why Lana Harper wanted it to be like the last book in the series, because it kind of all ties together like that. And the one thing that they do learn is that their goddess that lives in the lake, her name is Belisama, she has this counterpart who is like this really weird, like, he's called a god, like Chernabog, I think is what his name is. And he is like this weird dark half of Belisama. And it's strange because it's kind of like described as this really toxic relationship between both of them. And that's the reason why there's been so many problems in Thistlegrove in this last installment. Because one of the problems was they've been having really weird weather patterns and they didn't know why. And there was like these weird like happenings going on in their little town. And it was all due to this other half of Belisama. And that's where Dasha's main role comes in, because she is the one who ultimately gets rid of the darker half of Belisama by like eating him, like being a devil eater. That was basically the point of her power, of her gift, is to get rid of this other half that was going to ruin Thistlegrove, basically. And so that's basically Dasha's biggest character arc, is getting rid of the darker half. And like after that, she can't be a devil eater anymore, because I think eating that big of an entity kind of took away all her power, so she can't do that anymore. And that's also where Dasha's character growth comes in a lot, because she's kind of torn between being sad that she can't be who she's always been. Like, she can't be a devil eater, she can't be that special person, she can't ever go beyond the veil again, which is something that she really struggled with. And she kind of like grieves the fact that she can't do that anymore, but she's also happy because it means that she can't ever deal with that type of addiction again. And that's what I thought was very touching in the book, is the fact that she chose to be okay with not being able to do that anymore, because at the end of the book, Belisama does tell her that she can make Dasha a devil eater again, and she can give Dasha back everything that she was before that. And she really thinks about it very hard. Like, I think she wanted to. Like, she totally wanted to do that again and be that again. But she ultimately chose to be with Ivy and to be, like, not that type of Avramov again. Because she knew that if she was who she always was, she might not be the person who Ivy needs, basically. Like, she's definitely had a great character growth in that sense, and she's trying to become the woman who is needed on this side of the veil, like on the side where everything is alive and this universe, basically. And I thought that was really interesting character arc for sure. It was very touching. It actually made me really, this book made me feel kind of sad and happy at the same time, because I really liked Dasha's character arc the most. That was definitely the thing that really drew me in, was that Dasha was becoming a better person throughout the whole book. Like, she was trying to be better. She was trying to fix everything with Ivy. She was trying to, like, go past her addiction. And it was really sweet. And it definitely ended on a high note, so that's good. Because Dasha no longer is a devil eater, and she ended up being with Ivy. And she got back together with her and stuff. And she ended up... It's not like being with Ivy fixes everything, which I thought was nice. It's just that being with Ivy is better than who she was before, which I think is the main thing. It's like there's certain things in life that can't fix everything, but they do make it better. They do make it so that you can become a better person. And I think that's what Lana Harper was really trying to convey, is that certain things in life can't fix everything, but they can certainly help you become a better person. And I think that was the home run with Lana Harper. And Dasha's character arc overall is that Dasha became more mature and became more of who she was supposed to be instead of who she was. And that was the most important part, in my opinion. And I think it was a very good way to end the series if that's how she's going to go. And even though it makes me sad, I'm glad that she ended it on this high note, because that was definitely it definitely gave me a good feeling for sure. I was really proud of Dasha for choosing to be better than who she was before, and she's definitely one of my favorite characters. And I honestly, if you haven't read the Thistlegrove Witch series, I totally recommend it. There's Payback's a Witch, there's From Bad to Cursed, there's Back in a Spell, there's In Charm's Way, and then there's the final one, Rise and Divine. And my favorite one out of all of them is definitely Payback's a Witch. That one is featuring Emmy Harlow, but the other ones all deal with different families, which I think is cool. So every book has a different family that's like the main character. Even though there wasn't really one with the main Thorn character, the second book has to do with the Thorn family. Like he's the foil to the main character in the second book. So like the second book is about Rowan Thorn and Issa Avramov. It's kind of their love story. So it's basically all of them are certain love stories within something that's going on with Thistlegrove, which I think is a very cool tie-in, and something that I really enjoyed about Lana Harper's books is it's a romance, but there's also this type of adventure on the side. And all of her books, really the same theme is evident through all of them. It's like the main character goes through something really difficult or something hard, and they have this great character arc, and they come around and become a better person than what they were before. And I think that's the main thing that I like about her writing in general, is all of her characters go through really great growth, and that's something that I find endearing to read about. And I would totally recommend reading all of them. And you don't have to read them in order, and they're all standalones basically, even though they take place in the same universe. But I think with reading them out of order, there's like spoilers, I guess, because like some of the characters make appearances in some of the other books. Like Emmy appears in From Bad to Cursed, and she appears in this last book too. I think she appears in all of them actually. But yeah, they're just all really good books with really great stories and great characters. And I'm sad to see that it's ending, but I think Lana Harper, I think she's starting another book series under a different name. I've started listening to it, but I stopped listening to it because it wasn't catching my attention as much as I thought it would. But I think I'm definitely going to go back to it and try and finish it. It's called Wicked Like Wildfire. I think it's a new series that she's coming out with. So I'm interested to see where it goes, but for some reason it just didn't catch my attention right away. But I digress. Read the Thistlegrove Witch series. Totally recommend it. Every book is between a 3.5 and a 5-star for me. So it's a really good series, and I think if you really enjoy good character growth and like good love stories, I think you'll really enjoy them. But thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing if you are subscribed. And I would appreciate it if you liked my videos, and comment down below if you have read any of the Thistlegrove books, because I would love to talk to you guys in the comments. And I appreciate you watching my videos, and I thank you for all of your support. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, friends.